All right, hey there team, Steve Selvey here. Welcome to today's live coaching call. It's all about the handover meeting. Steve Selvey, as I said, in the driver's seat. I can't wait to roll up my sleeves and dive into this with you today. And, it's a really mostly neglected part of the client engagement and the client delivery process as well that we're going to cover off. So, you've done all the great work to get the client up front. You've done the attraction piece. You've got the prospect engaged. You've got them as a client. You've done all the hard part. But I reckon we fall short. There's a big bit of it, and a really easy bit that gets left out. We sprinkle our awesomeness through the end part of the session, and we've done a great job all the way through, and we've got into the buying process, but we fall well short. When we get to the end of it, for some reason, we just forget about what happens after we've done the session. And so, what we're going to do, we've done all that really hard work with the engagement part of it, and we forget about them until later on down the track. So we're going to end that today. I'm going to show you a big part of, this was a big part of my arsenal when I was doing my financial planning, huge part of my business, and it was about also, it was about this and getting the best results for them and for your business as well. It's really, really great to get into this habit that I'm going to show you today. And there's going to be different levels of it. I took it to a fairly high level, but at least part of what we show you today, I want you to take away from today's session and implement it for us. So here's to get through today. So let's jump in. Well, thanks, guys. Welcome for everyone joining us today. Newbies on the call. Regulars who keep coming back and regular offending with me. Thanks so much for being with me, guys, today. Really, really cool. What I do want to show you guys just quick, I just reminded about the shirt call. I've just got a couple of housekeeping things. The shirt call, I was going to take it back to 12:30 Perth time because of the change in daylight saving, but I've had a few people saying, hey, we're in the eastern states, 2 hours ahead, and 1:30 gets us to 3:30 over there, and that'll give us sort of 90 minutes to get us to around 5 o'clock, and it's kind of knock-off time anyway. So I think what we're going to do is keep it at 1:30 p.m. on Western Standard Time. So if I can get everyone to jot that down, guys. So the fortnightly Sherpa on the Tuesday afternoon is going to remain at 1:30 on the first and third Tuesday of every month. So like I said, I was going to take it back to 12:30, but I've had quite a few people saying that that 3:30 starting point take us through to 5 o'clock, and that's kind of knock-off time anyway. So just a note for everyone, and also JD on the call. I don't think I've mentioned this to you yet, but I'm doing that now. Can I get you to make sure that all of the Sherps on Tuesdays are going to be 1:30 Western Standard Time? Hey guys, just a quick plug to the design service. I just want to say that the guys over there, Iggy and the team over in the design service, are just doing an absolutely incredible job. I just wanted to give you a couple of examples of some of the amazing stuff that's been coming through. CFL Financial up in Brizzy, Craig and Steve up there, just had their corporate profile completed. Absolutely, it looked fantastic. They've completed a whole new process for their 5-step financial planning process, so they've got a bit of a flow chart for that now, as you can see there on the right-hand side. These guys also use the Astute Wheel, and we've actually developed a process for talking to them about talking to clients about the Astute Wheel in their lead magnet as well. In their corporate profile as well. So I just want you to know how awesome I think it's turned out. I think it's an amazing looking document, and the fact that you're using it already, I think you were using it in the design stage as well, guys. I think that's really cool that you actually started to do it. So really, really great. Also there. You're in slide balances and yeah, okay, I'm not sure about that, guys. Okay, sorry, it's just a little chat box in my message. Yeah, and also the guys have actually taken it a step further, and they're actually getting presentation folders, and they've got these ring binder folders as well done and completed by the design team. So guys, just looks fantastic, really, really ties in with your branding really nicely, very professional, smick, and I think it's going to look fantastic in your business as well. Also, just Matt Bazik has been doing a bit of work. He actually took up the design package, and he's had his logo redesign started from scratch. So as most of you guys know, I've sort of mentioned it a few times, Matt's moving his business and changing his business name and changing his whole avatar to the Empty Nesters sort of marketplace. He's now called the Empty Nesters Advice Group, and I think it's fantastic. We've got him a complete new logo, a whole new brand, whole new look, and I think it looks absolutely smick as well, mate. So Matt, well done for you. And Matt's got some Facebook images done for his Facebook page as well, so he's taken advantage of the design team as well. And also just to show you some of the quality of the work that's coming out. Paul from Evolve Wealth here in Perth. Yeah, done an awesome lead magnet. We've had several of these come through now, but I think this one particularly looks really, really nice, really professional, beautiful thumbnail there to tease people with as well, and I think it's just a really quality document. So, guys, so just so you know, in the Blackwing members site, there's a design tab. If you think you want to get your stuff to look way, way better than it is right now and get it done really cheaply and pretty quickly, actually, yeah, just go in, download the design brief, give us all the details we need, and we'll get that going for you. All right, guys, let's dive into this detail. Okay, so guys, we're in April, and we're just at the end of April, and April's a delivery and a team and a sort of retention month inside Blackwing, and delivery is really important, and but it's what happens after you've delivered that sets up the platform for your relationship with your new client and their relationship with you, to be honest, and even more importantly than that, it also sets up the relationship with your business. That's right. Your business is bigger than you. It's a lot bigger than you, and we've got to make sure that your prospects and your clients know that they've been through the system. They're not prospects anymore; they're clients. Okay. So you've heard me talk about it before. They say the way that your financial planning relationship starts is going to determine when and how that relationship is going to end. You might want to jot that down. The way your financial planning relationship starts is going to determine when and how it ends. Okay. So we want you to be. So if you want to have some control over that, you want to be in control. You want to have control over both of those things. You want to make sure that the start of the client's journey is really, really classy, really smooth, and really, really professional in all different aspects. And you want buy-in, you want ownership, and you want accountability, and you want that right up front. And that's just from the client's end. Right? You want them to buy in, you want them to have ownership, and you want them to have accountability from the client's end. Okay. So what we're talking about today, that's the handover meeting has been one of my, this really started, guys, from the reason I'm doing this session today, because I had a question a few months ago from one of our guys saying, when do you give your thank you letter and thank you gifts and all that in the handover meeting? So I got asked the question. I thought, I should probably do a session about it. So really, the handover meeting's been one of my secret weapons of building a really strong, long-lasting relationship. These relationships are both fun and they're also lucrative as well. That's where we're at. So the aim of the game is to get your client installed into your business. Really feel part of it, so that they feel part of it in the good times, and they also feel part of it in the bad times as well. They stick around no matter through thick and thin. They're always there, and they're always out there proclaiming you and talking about you and shouting your name from the rooftops. So the handover meeting really helps cement that relationship very early in the piece. It helps get them super excited about the journey that they've just been on, and it gets them to tell you what a good job you've done as well. That's the other thing. We need them to tell you so that it cements it again in their head. It also gets them to sort of buy back into it, gets them bought back into the work you've just done for them, and it gets them totally clear on the wins that you've created for them. And so we sort of, that allows them to tell everyone how awesome you are. So if they can buy in and get it cemented, they're able to then go out and they don't understand it implicitly. They can go out and tell their friends and their family and their colleagues about it as well. Best of all, it's also the perfect time to set the standards from what happens here. Okay, remind them about their commitments, remind them about their promises or about their responsibilities, and it's also the right time to remind them about the referral program as well. Really, really important. We've invited them at the start and said if they were the right person, they were going to they may get an opportunity to be part of your referral program. This is the time to remind them of it. Okay, it's a really simple little process that we use, and I'm going to show you how to use it really, really well today. Like I said, it's called the handover meeting, and it's absolutely killer, and I can't wait to walk you through that right now. All right. So we're talking about the handover, and how we take the relationship that you've got with people and the way you're doing it. they've done all this good work, but the smoke clears and the dust settles and the money goes in the bank account, you put the file away, and I reckon that's when the problem starts. And it starts from that point there, and I reckon the first problem is this, is that you did your very, very best work. You don't get any kudos for it. You did your very, very best work. And not just the advice and the strategy part of it, but your business's machine has just rolled in, hasn't it? After you've done all the front stage stuff, the client-facing stuff, the stuff that you're good at, and then the backstage picked up all of that awesomeness that you just did, the piles of paperwork, the forms, the admin. Now, some of you on the call, this might be you as well. You might be the front stage and the backstage at the moment, but I want there to be two distinct parts of your business, front stage and backstage. A couple of you guys might be just happen to be doing both of those things. You pick up all the forms and the admin, the mechanics of getting everything done smoothly and into place in your business. Because let's face it, that's half the reason why people come, eh? That's why they come to you. The reason they come to you is because they need this stuff done. They don't know how to do it on their own. So they don't know how to do it. And there's too much for them to do, and it's too confusing. And that's part of your value proposition. So you've done the front stage, and your team's done the backstage, and that's it. That's the last you hear from them until the end, until next year maybe, and then until the time where you actually start to have to chase them to come in for their review again. Right? So, you get the excitement of doing the work and the strategy and then giving them the advice, but you don't get the euphoria of seeing and hearing how your client feels about it and how it's changed their lives, and, just the look in their faces when they realise what a good job you've done. You just don't get that euphoria. You get the excitement, but not the euphoria, So you're on your own. You feel left out. You did a good job, but there's no one there to give you any feedback. So in other words, you don't get the kudos you deserve. Number two. And because of that, what happens is that the client takes everything you did, everything your team did and you did, they take it all for granted, don't they? Last time you spoke to them was when you did the paperwork, or and you needed something, you had to fix a problem over the phone, or or you had some underwriting decision you had to talk to them about, or whatever. Some drama you had to fix along the way. But that was it. There was so much involved in getting your stuff done that. But the last time you got to articulate it to them was back right near the start. So because it was so long ago, they just take what you did for granted. They don't realise how good a job you did. And what happens then is just everything, because of that, they take it for granted, it becomes expected. You had no chance to get the buy-in that you needed. There was no place that you had to cement their part of the ownership on their side of the process. Okay, and you certainly didn't get them to acknowledge and have that accountability that was part of working with you as well. And the rules, it's kind of the rules of engagement, I call it. You don't get them to you don't get the opportunity to go back over the rules of engagement and how it's done around here. If you've done it right, and like in the number framework, you've positioned it up, and and they've agreed to it, and they've signed up for it. But with this handover piece, you don't. If you don't do the handover piece, you basically don't get the opportunity to reinforce it and get their buy back into it and acknowledge it over again. So it's all downhill for them. It's one-way traffic. Everything goes their way because they've got the upper hand in your business now. You didn't get the opportunity to set the standards again. So they've got the power, and they expect you to do everything when you ask it from now on, because everything just becomes. So so the thing is, you didn't get the kudos you deserve. They take it for granted, and the stuff you do just becomes expected. There's no way to reinforce your value once they've walked out that door, and they've just got on with their lives, because once they're gone, they've forgotten about you. And what happens is that you end up. The worry about it is that you feel like you're just doing it all for the paycheck. You don't get the gratification of seeing their face when it's all done. You didn't see the look in their eyes, and when you tell them that what you're able to do for them. And you don't get the satisfaction of hearing the great job that you did and how much value they got and what a difference it made in their lives and their family and their future and all these sort of things. So there's no chance, there's no time that they get to tell you all this stuff, let alone be able to position the next steps and where to from here. So it's just like a production line, like a cookie cutter. And pretty soon what happens is everyone seems the same, and one client blends into the next, and it's in the next one and the next one, and it's no good for anyone. So what happens is if you leave this to chance and you don't do this handover well, no kudos for the great work you did, and you don't get the recognition you deserve. You don't, they don't fully appreciate what you've done, and therefore they can't go out and tell the world about it because they just don't know. They don't realise how much was involved, and everything becomes expected. So when it comes down to doing it again, it just becomes part of their deal because you didn't get to sell your value and how important things you do were, and they just expect it from you day after day. Okay, every time. And it's just like you're just doing it for the pay. It just turns around over and over again. But imagine if you could do it differently. Imagine if you had the processes, the tools, and you could flip this on its head and do it around. If you could turn it around so that instead of sort of not getting the kudos you deserve, it's an opportunity for you to build like an authority status in your business. You got the chance to reinforce your wins. You teach them what you did and why you did it. You got the chance to go back and value stack all the outcomes that you did for them, and get the recognition for it as well. Not the recognition for your ego's sake, but really I'm talking about getting recognition so that they can go out and tell people actually what you did and what was involved. They actually know what was involved so they can go out and tell everyone about it. You've actually had a chance to reinforce what you've done. They'll be able to appreciate what you've done and they'll be able to advocate about it. So just, can you jot that down, guys? You want them to appreciate because you want them to advocate. It's a really big part of it. It's not because you want kudos and you want to feel, you want to feel gratified. It's not really about that at all. We want to make sure they understand so that they can go and tell people about it. Okay? It's a massive opportunity missed if you don't hand over here properly. It's not about you. It's almost not even about them. It's about them getting out to the world and singing your praises and telling other people about it. People just like them, because remember, like attracts like. So instead of getting a heap of, so that's what's going to happen basically. We want people just like them. Is this making sense, guys? Please, I'm just going to clear the raise your hand button. Is this making sense so far? Can you do me a favour? I just want to know if this is this hitting home with you? Does this make sense? Why this is so important? I'm trying to make sure you get it. Okay. Some people are saying yes. Some people are not saying anything, which means they're either not listening or they're confused. Just raise your hand if this is making sense so far. Why this would be so important? Okay, great. All right, so the thing here is that, we've got to make sure that we get the chance to show them the results that you did. Okay? Because the thing is, if you think about it, the job gets done, you put the file away, they receive a whole heap of paperwork in the mail, paperwork that's got absolutely, they never read, they don't understand it, it's got zero value to them whatsoever. And it definitely won't help position you. In fact, it might even hurt you. How many times have you heard people say to you, "Oh wow, I can't believe how much blooming paperwork I got. It was crazy. It was just too much stuff." So they get this pile of paperwork and they say, "I didn't know what to do with it all." Imagine if you've been able to help them with that. Imagine if you could say, "Hey Fred, I know you would receive a whole heap of paperwork by now from all the providers that we use to get your stuff sorted. They're all important, and you definitely need to keep it all. But I also know that it's really hard for you to wade through all that. So like we talked about up front, as part of a handover meeting, just bring all that in with you. Don't worry about sorting it now. And I've got something special for you when you come in, and we'll be able to sort that out for you. And so you can keep on top of it, keep it really tidy. Everything you'll have at your fingertips. And that's it. Just put it all in a Coles bag or put it in a shoebox or something like that. Wrap it up in a lucky band if you do, and just bring it all in with you, and we'll sort it out for you. Okay, imagine if you could say something like that. So they've got all this paperwork, they don't know what to do with it. Well, just bring it in, we'll fix everything for you. Okay. That way you get to do something a little bit extra. You're able to explain it all so that they understand it, and also take control of the way they file things as well. That's the other thing. So that next year when they come in, you've got things in a logical order for you to actually go through your review with as well. So it's easy for you next time around. That's another sort of added benefit to what we're going to talk about. You can also walk them through it and the logistics that was involved, so they get it and they actually appreciate it. I think it's really important. And once you do that, what will happen is that when they get it, they understand it. What will happen is they'll know its value, and they'll pay for it. So they'll know what was involved, and they'll pay for it next time. They haven't. We've eliminated. They'll pay for it. They won't think it's just what you do anymore. They won't think it's just I go to this financial planner's office. I ask him for something. He presses a couple of buttons, and hey presto, all this stuff appears. And it's all done and it's finished for me. No, they won't think that anymore. They can see the work, they can put a price on it, and you can help them put a price on it. And they'll know what it's worth to them and what they can expect for it. And what they can expect is that you don't do these things for free. Because the reality is, guys, you know this, that no one really expects anything for free today. No one expects anything for free in this world. But really what's happened is financial planners over the years, they've just allowed people to think that they do things for free because they've hid behind insurance commissions and trails. Okay? So that's why we're not valued like accountants and lawyers and the like. We're not valued like professionals because we've allowed people to think we do things for free. They didn't really know how much money we made from a commission point of view. You know it's true. Okay. So you won't have to convince anyone ever again about you being paid for your work because they've really bought into it. They fully understand what its value is and what its value is to them. And what will happen is you'll get your value is going to be threefold. Okay, it's going to be what I call residual. It's going to be multi-channeled, and it's going to be multifaceted. I know it's kind of weird seeing that on the screen like that, but it's three things. That's right, it's going to be those three things. It's residual. It'll come back to you over and over and over again. If you sow the seeds and set the scene right at the end of that first part of the journey, it'll come back to you over and over again. Number two, it'll be multi-channeled. It'll come from heaps of different sources. Half the time there'll be sources that you didn't even know about or you wouldn't even dare to think about. Your advocates are out there all the time, everywhere, talking about you and how good a job you did because they get it, they understand it, and they've bought into it. And it'll be also multifaceted. What do they call it? Reciprocity. Reciprocity is going to come back into play here. It's going to come back to you in so many different ways. Okay, people are looking for opportunities to talk about you and make your business. And they're going to be looking for ways to make your business better as well, because they're proud of you and they're proud of it. They're proud to be part of your business, and they want their friends to know about it as well. They want their friends to be involved because they're so proud of it. They want other people that they know to have the same sort of experience that they're having as well. They're out there talking about you. They become installed into your business. It's critical that we get this right. They didn't even know about it. They didn't even know they were. They just are. Okay? They actually thanked you for it as well. So at the end, they walk out, you've just installed them into your business and they said thank you. It's pretty cool, I thought. Okay, in just a minute, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that really, with class, really smooth and like a pro. Okay? Also give you some tools that are going to make this easy for you as well. All right, so let's check in, guys. Let me just take a quick break. I've had a little bit of a stall at the start of the session, so hopefully got back on track. I reckon it's definitely worth spending time to have this handover meeting. It's building this into what you do. Okay, it doesn't matter what I think about this. It's really critical that you get this might be valuable in the way that you progress your clients through the system. So what I want to know from you, the question I've got is, what do you want to hand over well? What do you want? What difference would this make in your business? You've heard me talk about building authority, making sure that they know what's involved and the outcome they got. And we talked about, how much better your clients are going to understand what you've done, and they'll actually buy into it, actually value it, and they'll then go out and talk about it as well. But I want to know from you, what sort of, how will this benefit your business? If you had something like this at the end of your initial process, I'd love to know, why do you want to hand over well? In other words, that's the question. I'd love to know what landed with you in this little piece. Do me a favour, find that question box from here as well. Get up here, bring it back here. Okay, let's have a look. These are good, these are good. All right, okay, so we've got a few here. Get to cement everything and summarise. Yes, absolutely. Susan says, so I don't get any more Isabels. Okay, so Isabel she's turned the name Isabel into a verb. That's good. Because I want clients to stick around and love me and advocate for me. Lee, absolutely, for sure. That's exactly what this is about. Ultimately, to get more referrals, dude. That's really where we're going with this. We want referrals and we want clients to stick. So twofold, absolutely, Mark, for sure. To confirm the value to the client so that they can tell others and result in more referrals. Totally, Paul, for sure. More likely to continue as an ongoing ASF, ongoing fee, ASF, but I'm assuming that means client. Aaron, so that's cool. Get referral by word of mouth, warm leads, absolutely. It will make you more referable, totally. Terry, thank you. This is definitely where the problems start. Totally, yeah, for sure. Susan, thank you. It's the last touch point for most clients for some time, so we want to leave a great client with a clear direction, transparency and confidence to refer their friends absolutely out, and that's exactly where we're heading with this. To upgrade their client care packages as well, Julie, for sure. When they can see you and the work that you've done, and maybe if they're on a low package at the start or you just put them onto a lowish type of package, what you can be doing is giving them an ascension. So showing them what the next level is and where other clients are in your business and sowing the seed that there's a next step for them as well. So totally. So I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, absolutely, that's exactly right. If you get someone in on a low package, you get the opportunity to say, hey, this is where you're at now. Where we're heading is this, and here's the next package, and there's another one after that. And you know what? When we do this right, you're going to be up in the third package as well. So yeah, absolutely, Julie. Thank you so much for that. That's great. A couple more. Build strong relationships and onboard them properly. Yes, David. Good. I feel like they lose a bit of touch with you personally once the business is lodged. Absolutely, well, yeah. The reality is it's not up to them to keep in touch with you. It's actually your job, Mike, to keep in touch with them. So you're the one that's steering the ship, and you're the captain of the ship here. So it's up to you, not them. Okay. Yeah, great guys, really good. A few more there, but I'll slide on from there. But really good. Yeah, absolutely right. I reckon all of those are great points. So what I'm going to do right now. Let's change gears. I'm going to shift this a little bit. What I want to do is I want to give you 3 keys, 3 big principles for doing this handover meeting really, really, really well. So we're talking about a consolidation meeting basically. That's after everything's finished and you're just about to put the file away. Everything's done within reason. You've done what you can. Commissions and your fees have been paid. Business in it's all in place. It's all done. And normally you just send out some crappy thank you letter. If that. Some people don't even do that, let's be honest. Can I just get a show of hands, guys? Who does send something out at the end of when everything's sort of done and ready to put the file away? Just raise your hand for me. Who is sending at least a letter out to say, hey, this is what's transpired? Just let me know there's at least something going on. Okay, a few hands up. Yeah, few, I'd say half the hands. So got about 30 odd or so, 28 on the call. So I reckon maybe less than half of that. But that's okay. There's quite a few at least in the letter, which is kind of good. Kind of good. Okay. So we send that out. We normally send that letter out, and then remember what we're looking for here. We're looking for buy-in. We're looking for ownership, and we're all. Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. Okay, we want accountability to all the promises that they've made at the start. Remember the things in the commitment statement. We want accountability to those things as well. Okay. And at the end, I'm going to show you a few tools, and where you can go to get some of this done to get this done fast into your business, and do it like a pro in your business. Okay. Cool. All right, here we go. First tip number 1. So tip number 1 is this. Okay, so the first part of this process is that we need to set the expectation. And we've got to set it right up front, and we've also got to seed it all the way through. Okay, so we're going to seed the process. We're going to seed the expectations. The way it works in your business, every single time without fail. Everything we want to happen in the journey, everything it's going to be discussed. We're going to talk about it at this point here. At certain points over the course of the journey, and then at the end, we're going to set the expectations up. Okay, so there's no surprises at the end. They knew about it all the way through, and they've agreed and they've acknowledged it. And and they've agreed to be involved. It's just like when you go to do a bungee jump. Let's just imagine. I don't know if you have done it before. It's pretty crazy. But if you haven't, just imagine you were. They wouldn't just march you up there and tie your legs up and just say 3, 2, 1 bungee and just push you over, would they? No, they wouldn't do that. They ease you into it. They talk to you. They tell you the process. They sit you down. They tell you what you can expect and what others have done before you. They let you know what the rules are and the way to do things. There's certain things that you have to adhere to. They tell you why they're doing things and the reasons that they're so important, and all that sort of thing. They tell you exactly what they're doing. And what happens is and that's what we need to do with your clients all the way through the process. We walk them through we walk them through their expectations and what they can expect. So there's no questions when the time comes at the end. Okay. So I want you to think about what points in your client meeting, and even in some of your touch points along the way over the course of the journey, but what points could you set the expectations along the way about handover meeting and how important it is. So I just want you to jot that down. So that's a question I've got for you. What could you do? At what points could you actually bring this up? We'll talk about it a little bit later, but when could you sort of bring it up in your meeting? The steps that they've, and given something to look forward to is probably the other thing as well. We want to start to think about it so that they look forward to it, okay? Let's think about expectations for a minute, guys. So what I want to do, can you do me a favour? I'm going to bring my iPad up onto the screen. So I want you to grab your worksheets, guys, and we're going to work on that first worksheet. Oh, I better actually get my iPad up properly. All right, so guys, so what I want to do is let's have a look at expectations for a minute and how to set the expectation. I'm just going to do this really, really quickly. Okay, so what we're going to do is, so the thing we need to do, there's three main parts of this, and basically we want to, there's three circles. The first thing we need to do is we need to frame the expectation. We've got to set the frame for what we're doing. So we've got to frame it up, we've got to talk about it at the start and give them a really good overview, so sort of, you know, get their mind in the same thought process as yours. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do when we're setting expectation, we've got to frame. And we want to sort of, that's kind of set the scene. So just, you can jot this in your worksheets. You've got to set the scene. Okay, that's how we set up the expectation. Well, I'm just going to, okay, so now that's good. So we're going to set the scene. Second part is that we need to seed. We need to be seeding all the way through. We want to seed a couple of things here. We want to seed your value, and we want to also exceed the expectations. Just jot this into yours. We want to seed the expectations. So, you know, we've got to be saying it, talking about it all the way through. We've got to just casually, at certain points, we've got to figure out in your process, in your conversion conversation, and then in your fact-find meeting process and in your plan presentation meeting process, I mean, you know, you want 4 or 5 or 6 different times where you can actually bring it into the conversation and start to talk about this thing called the handover meeting. Because the handover meeting is so critical, it's just as important as the engagement at the start. We want to get that engagement at the end on their responsibilities and the ownership and the referrals and all the rest of it. So we've got to figure out in your process when are some points where you can start to see this into the conversation. The third part about it, we want to actually teach. We've got to teach them about this. So we've got to talk to them about it. And really all that means is just communication. So you've got to have a land communicate. I've got my spelling Nazi online again too today, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm a bit concerned about my spelling. You know who that, and you know who that is, Julie. Yeah, so we've got to figure out. Firstly, we've got to frame it. We've got to seed it, but we've got to figure out how to communicate it as well. So we want to make sure that you've got your own style of communicating that to your clients. Now, the thing is, the reason we do this is threefold. The first reason is so that they know, they're really, really clear. I might actually change colour there. So the reason we do this is so that they're absolutely crystal clear, that they know what's going on. So there's no surprises for them. They know exactly what's going to happen. Okay? The second part is so that we're 100% sure that they understand. Okay? So the better we can frame, the better we can teach them, and seed it in, and the better we can teach them, the more they're going to understand. And the third reason, and probably the most important reason, is so that they get buy-in. So they actually buy into the process. It becomes part of the deal. Okay? Frame, set the scene up front, tell them about it in your discussions. Seed your value and your expectations along the way, and then teach them, use your style of communicating to get them excited about the future, so that they know, they're really, really clear on it, they understand exactly what's involved and what's going to happen, and that there is another meeting after you've finished the work, so that they get buy into that. And the reason we want to do this, there's 3 reasons we want to do this. Number 1, the first reason, of course, is that we want it to be logical, just a logical part of the process. Okay, it just becomes logical because you've communicated and you've taught them so well. You've set the expectation. You want to make sure that they get that it's practical. It's going to help them. Practical. All right, it's going to help them. There's a lot involved in that handover meeting. Like I gave you an example before, you know, you're going to have all this paperwork. Come in, just bring it all in. We'll sort it out for you. We'll file it for you and blah, blah, blah. That's a really big part of it. How many times have people just like I said, they just get piles of paperwork, especially if you're doing that holistic advice piece. Okay, and the third part, we want to make sure that they understand that it's valuable. Valuable. Okay, so it's valuable. So want to make sure that they think it's logical, they know that it's practical, the handover meeting is going to be practical and helpful for them, and it's going to be some value involved as well. Okay, so so that's really that's how I believe that's a pretty good framework to use just for any sort of expectation setting as well. So really, really good framework if you can just work on that. That's how you go about setting expectations. All right, let's get in. Okay, so that's point number one. So, you know, the benefit for this, so there's three things there just really quickly on the expectation, because that's a big part of it. You know, having that, you've got it mapped out, you've set the expectations. It's easy for them to know that they, you know, so they know they can't come back and say, you know, hey, you didn't tell me about this. I didn't know this was going to be a meeting. And it's easy for you because you can just make it part of your process. And the benefit is that you've got some sort of system that you can easily install, you know, and it can be followed by you, but not only by you, it can also be followed by your team as well, because they know this is coming up. There's a process for getting prepared for that handover meeting inside the business. And so you don't have to think anymore, you just do it. We set a process for it, and it becomes part of the deal, and it becomes part of your processes, and it becomes part of the expectation across the board. That's why we're doing it. So that's number one, point number one. Point number two is this. Point number two is I want you to make it extraordinary. I want you to make the handover meeting absolutely extraordinary. If you think you've done a good job along the way, this handover meeting is going to absolutely blow their mind. That's where we're at. So you think about it. You know, you've done all the work. We've put in the hard yards. It's never smooth, is it? It's never as smooth as it sounds. You rarely get a clean skin anymore, or a super rollover that just goes through perfectly. We just don't get that anymore, do we? Even if it's just straight advice. It, you know, it doesn't always go according to plan. In fact, it hardly ever goes according to plan, does it? There's just a lot involved. There's always some sort of follow-up, or the client forgot to tell you, they didn't get to you, or, you know, so there's something that you have to chase up all the time. But, you know, we're at the end, and we've got this last chance to cement, like Adam said, we've got this last chance to cement this relationship and set the scene for a really incredible and powerful conversation that we're going to have at the end. Okay? So we want it to be world class. We want it to, you know, we want to make the whole experience extraordinary for them, and we want it to be a meeting that they'll remember, they'll be proud of, and one that your team can be proud of and gratified by as well. That's the other really important thing. Seriously, think about it for a minute. I used to feel really sorry for my guys. Before I started this process, I used to feel sorry for my team because I was the one that got all the glory, and the team did most of the hard work. I never got to see how happy the client was or how excited they were. You know, they did the work, but they didn't get to see the end result. And they never saw the outcome of their hard work, in other words. So this is really, really important part of their learning and about their job satisfaction. And they can see what all the efforts are about and what all the fuss is about as well. So, you know, it's really important to make sure that your team's involved in this handover process. So, yeah, it's important that they play a part in this as well. Okay, so if you think about it, think about the way they hand over the keys for an expensive car, you know, like an expensive sports car. You know, it's like a theatrical experience, isn't it? So I'll give you an example. When I bought my last car, they invited us to this thing called they called it the key ceremony. The key. I think they called it the key handover ceremony. Just thinking about it, so they called it the key handover ceremony, and they parked my car inside the building, right near where the salesman's desk was, where we were sitting. It had a big black cover over it, and it had a big AMG logo on it. I bought a Merc. They had a big AMG. It looked like a Formula One car. Right? And they just sat us down, they offered us coffee and something to eat, you know, they gave us this beautiful menu, really, really good. Then they made us sit there for a few minutes. The guy took off, he walked away, he did something else. And he just let us sit there. I knew my car was about 2 meters away from me, but he just made me sit there and soak it all in. And then they did a few last-minute bits and pieces, a bit of housekeeping, a few signatures, and and then the manager came over and he introduced himself and told me how lucky I was to be driving a state-of-the-art machine. He didn't call it a vehicle; he called it a machine. It was really interesting. You know how lucky I was to drive a state-of-the-art machine like an AMG. And we got some last-minute instructions and clarified what we were doing. And, you know, he asked us if there was anything else that we hadn't covered off, and anything in our minds that we hadn't asked it before. We're 100% comfortable. And he said, and then he said, and we were fine. And we said yes. And then he said, you know what he said? He said, are you ready? He said, okay, you ready? Yeah, I was hanging out. I'd been there for 40 minutes or so. My car was sitting right there. I wanted to see. I was like, holy crap, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, and I was sitting on the end of my seat. I was hanging out to see this thing. And then what he did, he went and stood over near the car and he got me to stand up. My wife and I, Robin was there, and we stood there. 5, did a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, wham. He ripped off the car, and there was my beautiful C63. Yeah, it was spit polished, it was gleaming, the wheels were black, and it had that new car smell and just new car look about it. It was so beautiful. They threw in, sort of upgraded the complimentary. I had basic floor mats. They put in the proper, really good AMG floor mats. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then he said, "Go ahead, start it up." I said, "What? You mean in here? Start it up in here?" And I don't know if you guys have heard of C63. The note of the exhaust is pretty cool. So I got to, I said, and he said, of course, and the V8 sounded amazing inside the room, and it sounded so much sweeter inside than it even does outside. I felt on top of the world, absolutely on top. And then he came over and he had this like a Mercedes sports bag, like a sports bag, and it had stuff in it, a couple of hats and a couple of key rings, not just for me. He had something for my wife as well. He had a male hat and a female hat, and a male key ring and a female key ring, just as a side issue. It had a little toolkit, a drink bottle, out of Mercedes-Benz chocolates, a leather compendium. It was just an amazing experience. It was world class. It was absolutely world class. It was extraordinary, and that's what I'm talking about here. And the thing is, so much so that I went back about 8 months later, and we actually bought my wife a car as well. So my wife drives a Merc as well. She needed a car, and guess what? We went back there straight away. Okay, so and this is what we did. So I actually got them to do a bit of graphic work and all the rest of it, and that's so this is I had to throw this photo in. This is my other passion of mine as well. Okay, but I just want you to think about the process for a minute. It was theatrical. Now I'm not saying that you need to go to all of this, but what I'm getting at is they made us feel like a celebrity. They got our emotions anchored to the feeling that I had when they handed over those keys. It was called the key handover ceremony. It was, they did it differently than anything I'd ever had before. They made us feel special. They made us feel world class, and it was absolutely extraordinary. We felt extraordinary doing it. It was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. Right, so, guys, let's just what I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to get. Just thinking about it. I have got a little worksheet over as how we can. Well, I might save this for another day. I was going to do a little worksheet there, but we won't do that. So that second worksheet, just flip over that. We'll do that another time. I'll show you some ways to do this, make it world class. All right. But guys? I'm just going to clear the raise your hand button. I just want to make sure that I impact on this point here. Does everyone get why and the reasons? And can you see how they made me feel so world class? Okay. I want you to just raise your hand for me and just let you know that I painted that picture well enough that everyone gets how critical world class is. So I see if I have to go, I'll listen to it later this afternoon. Okay, mate, Terry, no worries at all. Okay, cool. All right, third part is this. Number 3, what we're going to do, and that brings us to really what they did, and what I want you to do in your handover meeting. It's what I call indoctrinate them. And they totally indoctrinated us. Just like on the screen, the little kid here, he's got his hat on sideways, he's got his, his Reebok shoes on there, and, at an early age, the parents are indoctrinating him. I can tell you exactly what that kid's going to turn out like later on down the track. But think about us with Mercedes. We are now, our family here, in downtown Perth, we're Mercedes-Benz people now. I owned 4 HSV Senators before that, beautiful cars, awesome Holden, and a whole heap of awesome Holdens before that. Dude, I was a red and blue man through and through, all the way through. I was a rabid Holden. But after that experience, you know what, we're not only clients, we're advocates. In fact, we're raving fans. I don't know, 38, 37 people on the call today, and I don't know how many people are sitting in there with you. I've just told 50 people about how awesome Mercedes-Benz are. I've told every single one of you about it. My brother-in-law's got a Merc now. 2 of my clients have got a Merc. And not just because they're great cars, because there's no doubt about that. They're incredibly quality cars. But the thing is, it's got so much to do with the way they engaged me and the way they converted me. And definitely, it had heaps to do with the feeling I had when they did that key handover ceremony. Okay, so guys, I want you to just really understand that what this is about is indoctrinating and getting people to be part of your business right at the very end, so that they get involved. They're inside us. And this session is not about cars. It's about client experience, and it's about the feeling people get when it's done right. We've got to make it part of the process every single time. It's part of the process for you, it's part of the process for your team, and it's also going to be part of the process for your clients as well. Really, really critical. And that kind of, a little bit of this starts even before the handover meeting. There's a couple of things that we do over the course of the journey that are going to flow through, and that's one of the reasons I love the financial success matrix. When we send this, so this document, this little tool here, goes all the way through the front end process, from never heard your name before, so first meeting, to all the way through to the handover meeting. So, because the reason I say that is because we get the clients to fill in the success wheel at the start before they come in to see you, so we can get them to buy into it a little bit and get them to tell you a little bit about where they feel they're at, and also it helps you to figure out where you're going to start with them. So the things that are lower on the scale are probably the most important and probably need fixing the most. But at the end, when I go through the handover meeting, I actually bring the success wheel out again. And what I do is I go how they're feeling, the outcome that we've achieved, and then what I do is I ask them to redo the wheel. And as you can see in the example there, most people, if we've done a good job, and I'm assuming all you guys are going to do a good job, most people feel much better. So what it does, it's getting them to tell you how much better they feel. And this is just an example. I just plucked this one out of a file, but it just shows you exactly what happens. They started off on the inner circle, wonky wheel, out of sorts, lots for me to do as a financial planner to fix the situation, and now this is where they feel. I've actually got some 10s in there as well, and I've got some sort of 9s and 8s. That's pretty good. We're not, what that does, it leaves us room for improvement, and we're not going to be a 10 every time, and no one's actually probably going to tell you you're a 10 for everything. No one's going to tell you you're perfect. But funnily, sometimes it did get the odd one, one or two that were. But what it does, it gives you an opportunity to say, okay, this is where you started the journey with me, and because of the work we've done, this is where we've finished up. How good is that? How much better do you feel? You must be feeling fantastic. And that sort of thing. So we can start that journey of building them up and making them feel good about themselves. The other thing I do, and I haven't spoken too much about this, is what we clients come in, we engage the client, they come in for a fact find meeting, we do the plan, the strategy, we do the work, and then we get them in, present the plan, and they fill in the paperwork. And then we shake their hand and they walk out the door, and that's kind of often the last time they see them. And they get in the car and they think, holy crap, what have I just signed up for? What have I just signed up for? I've just signed 15 signatures on a wad of paperwork 2.5 inches thick, and they get this thing called post-purchase dissonance. It's like, shit, what have I done? And that's why the insurance companies and the super funds have given the 14-day cooling off period now, so that people can actually pull out. And some people do. If you haven't done it well, people do pull out and they say, oh, no, look, I've just decided not to do anything, I'm going to leave it, or I'm just going to have a bit more of a think about it, or whatever. So what we do is we send out this letter called the post-purchase dissonance letter. And it wasn't from me. It was actually from one of our team, and it was normally from one of the admin girls. All right? And it goes something like this. So I'll just read it to you quickly. So this letter goes out as they walk out the door after completing the application forms and paperwork. This letter either goes on the email, so it's there before they get home, or it goes in the mail so it arrives the next day. So it just says, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, power of a good idea is in its implementation. Firstly, congratulates them, so we congratulate them up front on taking the important step of securing your future of your family and your lifestyle. My name's blah, blah, blah. My name's Client Admin Manager, and I'm the Admin Manager here at your business. It's going to be my role to work with you to implement your plan. Now that you're proceeding with the recommendations, let me take a couple of moments to tell you what we're going to be doing for you from here. Your signed insert product paperwork has been forwarded to me, and it's my responsibility to see it through from start to finish. During the implementation process, I'm going to be your main point of contact here, should the need arise. I'll contact you to keep you up to date where necessary. What this means to you is that you don't have to worry about the progress of your applications. You can feel free to get on with your life knowing that I'll be personally ensuring that your business is processed in the most timely and the most efficient manner. Just as an FYI, I might need to make any contact with you by phone or by email to ask any questions. Might need some further info about an application, or might need some small detail from you. So now that they know, okay, actually is the person that I'm going to call now. or is going to look after this. As well as this, from this date forward, we are your financial planners, and that we are here for you. You can call any time to discuss any queries or concerns regarding your financial future. So you see how I've broadened that? It's not just about the product that we're just doing. This is about anything. We're your guy now. We're your girl now. Call us. Don't be frightened. We're here to help. Also, as part of your client care package agreement, we've also provided you with a personal face-to-face annual review. This service will ensure that you stay on track with your strategy and gets implemented, and that we've implemented together, and with your advisor to provide great opportunity to catch up and revisit the progress towards your objectives. At the review, we'll be looking at ways to provide you some new opportunities or new ways of tailoring the plans to better meet your needs. If there's anything else that you'd like to discuss, no matter how big or small, or something else that you want done straight away, please feel free to contact me on this number. I look forward to talking to you then. Regards, Client Admin Manager. So what that does, they get this either on the email when they get home, or they get it the next day, and what we're trying to do is alleviate some of the pressure or some of the pain or some of the post-purchase dissonance that they may have when they've walked out your door. Okay? So that's just, so again, it's not all about the handover meeting. There's some tools that we use along the way in the journey that are going to help. And that's just what we want them to get from this is basically a big sigh of relief. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, it sounds okay. Someone's looking after it. I don't have to worry about it. It's just another layer that we've just taken off. And we've also sowed several seeds about what to expect, what's coming up, what they need to do, and what the process involves as well. Cool? All right. Okay. So just quickly, I just want to learn. Just want to take a breath. What are you learning so far? So I'd love to know. I'm hoping that you're writing lots of notes, lots of different things. Yeah, I'd love to know what you're learning so far. So can you do me a favour? I want to know what's been most valuable for you at this stage. From what you've heard so far, what's resonated with you? Go over your notes just quickly and find the question box. And I'd just love you to type in what have you learned so far from walking through this with me. Sanya says, I know how great they are. Oh, Sanya must have a Mercedes as well. So do they complete the second success wheel on the same? Yeah, I do always, mate. Yep. So how they've done it. So Paul's asking, do they do the second part of the success wheel on the first? Yes, exactly. So they brought the success wheel in for their first meeting. You've kept a copy of it. And then, yeah, you want to get that same one out and you want to get them to do the same, because we wanted to show them the difference between the first wheel and the second wheel, Paul, for sure. Absolutely. What are you learning so far, guys? I love this, Steve. I can see how clients would appreciate this additional service. Totally, absolutely, Aaron. The end becomes more important, really, than yeah. I won't say it's more important because we've got to get them on board. But once it's in and they've signed up for your program, it becomes the next most important thing, because this sets up your future within Lee. Exactly right. Probably an area I struggle as I'm looking for new business opportunities following the implementation of the plan. The thing is, if you get this right, your clients are going to advocate for you and they'll provide you with the new business opportunities. So yes, you've got to look for new business opportunities, but doing this right is going to give you some new business opportunities as well. So kind of a catch-22. Mark says, want them to appreciate us and advocate to others. Yeah, hand over like a car. Great, Craig. Thank you. This is absolutely vital, Susan. Yeah, the intent is there, the implementation. Oh, the intent is there, it's the implementation that I struggle with. Don't worry, Susan, I'll just give you some tools at the end of this to make it easy. Deliberate and systematic process makes the ordinary exceptional. Thank you, Guru. That's exactly what we're going for. Guys, just write that down, please. That's a great one, Guru. Well done. Let's work out how we can make the ordinary exceptional. Love that. Paul says systems and tools for the handover. It's gold and currently not streamlined in our business. It will be very, very, very shortly. I'm going to show you the tools. Yeah, sweet mama, Lee, do you do this meeting every time you provide clients with advice? Totally do. Probably not so much with the review meetings. No, this is really more the first meeting and getting them involved. I do have the referral conversation with every review meeting, Aaron, but not to this extent that I'm going to show you in a second. I do get them to bring, I'm going to show you a folder that we do as part of it, and I get them to bring that every year so that we can, when they walk in, they come into my office without the folder, and we leave it at the front desk, and we get our receptionist to go through and tidy up the paperwork for them and get rid of any double-up statements and envelopes and stuff like that are still there, so we get that tidied up. So they bring the folder in, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, not every single review, no. Probably not necessary. All right, good guys, really good. They're good points there, Dave. Nigel says, yeah, make it theatrical. Yeah, totally. Framing things up along the way So it gives them something to look for. Give them something else to look forward to as well. All right, guys, I want you to do me a favour. Grab your worksheets again, and I want you to, what we're going to do, I'm just going to basically walk you through, the process for this. So if I can get you to do me a favour, grab your worksheets right now, and just give me the opportunity to walk you through exactly how to do it. So you've got the sort of the headings there, and I'm just going to really just talk. I shouldn't have given you the headings, to be honest. Just thought about that. Oh well, never mind. You've got a head start on me. All right, so I'm going to walk you through each one of those boxes and show you how to use it. So what we've got just on the left-hand side there's three parts of this, and funnily enough, it's a 9-box framework. The first part, we want to re-engage them. Along the middle there, it's about reconnection. Okay, and then the third part, it's about reiterate. So we want to re-engage, we want to reconnect, and we want to reiterate the rules and the expectations and the opportunity and the referrals and all the rest of it that goes on. Okay, so in the first box there, so there's a few things we want to do. So the way and I'll just get you to ride along with me, guys. You can walk along with me with this. The first thing we want to do is we basically want to welcome them. I'm just going to tell you I'm just going to step through the process that I used to use in an engagement meeting like this, and I try to get them excited. Okay, so we want to welcome them, tell them how excited we are. We're basically trying to reacquaint with them. Sit down, talk about the cat, reacquaint with the family. How's your year been? What's been really good in the year? What hasn't been so good over the course of the year? And that often gets them to tell you things that they may not have told you had you not been having this conversation. We want to reacquaint. We want to kind of set the scene for the session. Set the scene. And I've actually just realised I had an agenda for this meeting that I haven't actually put into the session. So I will, JD, Webinar Wingman, could you do me a favour? Could you just remind me to get the handover meeting agenda to the guys after this call? I've just forgotten to put it in today, guys. I will get it to you. I'll put it up in the Facebook page over the course of the weekend. So we want to set the scene. So we want to sort of set the scene why we're having this meeting. We want to take a few steps back and just set the scene, what the handover meeting is all about. And then the last thing, we want to kind of explain the journey. And that's where the agenda comes into it. So explain the journey. In other words, we're going to run through the agenda, which I just realised I haven't put in the session today, but I will get it to you. So that's what we're trying to do. So just welcome, touch base, excite, reacquaint yourself, get them back involved, and sit them down and walk them through what's going to happen today. All right, so the second part of it, what I want you to then do at the start, so we've set the scene, we've gone through the agenda, and then we're going to sit back in a chair and we're going to basically revisit the problem. So I want you to help them take a few steps back. So I want them to look over their shoulder again and think about what happened when they first came in. Okay, so I want you to help them take a few steps back. Okay, I want you to help them paint a picture of where they were before you came in, before they came in to see you. So we want to get them back to remember what it was like before they met you. Okay, really, really important. We want to help them identify in this process. What we're trying to do is help them identify the pain points. We want them to tell you about what the pain was before they met you before. Even if it's just a life insurance policy, there was a reason that they came in for that life insurance policy. We're going to get them to revisit the conversation that we started when we first met them, and sort of revisit again, why they needed you, why they were at the point where they needed to come in. But we want to basically get them to reiterate the reasons that they came in, why they needed you. So you get them to tell you that again. And what we also want to do is get them, really importantly in this little section, is count the cost. This meeting, we'd normally have a handover meeting, probably take, 40 to 45 minutes or so, because we're doing it well. Like I said, the Mercedes guy made us sit, offered us a drink, got some paperwork done. It was probably an hour handover there. So, this session would normally last about 40 minutes or so. So you want to sort of break it up there. We want to get them to count the cost. Okay, we want to get them to count the cost. What was it costing them before you were able to do what you've been able to do? So when they first came in, paint a picture of it, identify the pain, why they needed you at the time. So just the more they say it, the more they hear it, the more it's real, and get them to count the cost of not being involved in you and your business. The third thing we want to do is we want to get them to reinstate the reasons. So, sorry, restate the reasons. Okay, so we want to, the promises. So we want to say, okay, that was where it was, but we want to sort of review their goals. So when we sat down together, guys, we talked about this, and this, these goals. We want to review their goals. We want to sort of list out what they requested from you. So you want to list out their requests. And the way I used to do that, I used to run through the magic wand list. So I'd get the magic wand list out again at this point. And I'd say, hey, remember we had this discussion about the magic wand list, and we said you wanted this, and you wanted that, and you wanted that. Because what's happened is they've come on board, they're a full service client, you've done everything they've ticked on there, or most of the things on that on that magic wand list. You're now able to go back and say, hey, here's all the things you wanted, let's look at what we actually were able to achieve. So we list out the things from the magic wand list. We discuss the reasons. Why they wanted it. Why did they want it? So we get them again. So you see what we're doing here. We're getting them to restate everything that they wanted at the start and what they wanted you to achieve, knowing in the back of your mind that you've been able to tick off those things and you've got something really cool to tell them in a second. Okay. We also get them to acknowledge that they were real. Get acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. Okay, so we want to make sure that they get that it was actually real. We didn't make it up, because remember, when they do the magic wand list, it's them telling you what they want, not you telling them. So it is real. But at this point here, remember, this is all about re-engaging them. We want them to tell us again that it was all real. And I'd also at this probably point, this is probably where I walked. I walk them through this. I just go. I also get the success wheel out here. And I just walk. I don't do the second part. I don't do the how do I say that? I don't get them to redo the success wheel. I just walk them through the initial one they did. So the success wheel at this point. I just grab it out and I'll just say, okay, remember you did this success wheel as well, and you were here, you were 3 on this and 2 on that and 4 on that, and you were good on that. You were 7 or 8 or 8 on that one and 2 on that one and 5 on that one. Okay, so we're just getting them, to restate the reasons they needed you. Okay. So we've re-engaged them, we've touched base, we've excited, we've got them to tell us the problems all over again, what it was like before they met you, and we've got them to restate the goals that they set in that meeting by going through the magic wand list again and getting them to get their head back around the success wheel of where they started. Second part is we want to reconnect. So we want to reconnect them through this process. So we're now we can turn it around. So we've talked about the bad before they saw you. And you've talked about the understanding and the openness and the dropping the mask of when they met you and they've told you what they needed. Now we can talk about the results that you got for them. So really what you're going to be able to do, you're going to be able to do an overview. So you just do an overview or some sort of summary. Some sort of summary. Just summarise what you've done, basically. Summarise the outcomes is really what we're talking about here. I'd show them, and I'll show you these in a second, guys. But what I do here, I overview flow charts. I create a visual of what we've achieved. Flow charts, or you might do a one-page snapshot, even something to show rather than wading through paperwork and more reading of words. Some sort of snapshot to show them what you've done and what you're able to achieve, something like that. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that in a minute. We want to kind of explain the details. If there's any details or anything that you need to sort of expand on, and I know there's a few of you guys out there on this call that are doing quite technical work, you might need to just quickly, now that it's all in place, let me just walk you through exactly what we've done and what it means to you. So explain sort of any details that are involved. This is your opportunity to do that, see? Because what happens is if it's set up in place, paperwork goes out to the client, it all just gets done and you put the file away, sometimes people are still a bit confused. So this is your time to be able to explain anything, again, that you think they might need to know, how the income is going to come from a TTR, what the tax strategies were and what the things that they need to do just before tax time, or, whatever it has to be, if it was something complex. You're going to ask for questions at this point here as well. Ask for questions. And just make sure that there's clarity. If you want to, so you clarify. So ask for questions here, and this is your opportunity to say, hey guys, anything I haven't explained properly? Do I need to clarify anything? Is there something that I've explained that you didn't quite get? Hey, let's just talk about it now. That's what we're here for. So it's an opportunity for them to clarify. So they've then got buy-in. The more they say, no, I get it, you understand it, you explained it well, I understand it. The more they do that, that's exactly what we want in this process. And then just the last one, and you want to ask the question, and we want to ensure that you are on track. You have done the right job, so you on track. So guys, am I on track with this? Does this make sense? Is this what we talked about? And they're going to say, yeah, because it is what we talked about. You know exactly what you're doing, but you're just going to get them to say, yeah, Steve, this is exactly what I talked about. So I know I just say, guys, am I on track with this? That sort of thing. Just really casual, really smooth, and they say, yeah. So as long as they've said, yeah, right, I know I can move on. All right, so we're reconnecting to them, to their results and to the excitement of it all, and we're going to move on to that. So the next one, we move from results to excitement. So we want to get them excited about it, and this is the point where, so you've heard me talk about the VIP folder. I've normally got that sitting on the floor, okay? Or no, sorry, what's happened is the clients have walked in, they've brought in their paperwork. Daniela at reception would ask them if they brought their paperwork in, and she would just grab them off it. Behind the desk, she's got their folder, and what she does halfway through the meeting, or as soon as she's finished, she'll knock on the door, walk around behind me, and put the folder on the floor next to me, behind me, so they can't. Yeah, they see her kind of carrying it, but they don't really know what it is. And she used to walk in just behind me and just chuck it down on the floor. No, not chuck, put it down on the floor behind me. And yeah, so the clients know that something's coming in, but they don't know what it is exactly. And this is the point where I'd get that out. So I would now at this point I'd reveal the VIP. I used to call it the VIP folder. Okay, so you'd reveal it at this stage. So you've got clarity, you've overviewed and all the rest of it, and then you do the show in the VIP folder. I would then do a value stack. I'd summarise the wins. Summarise the wins. So, okay, so what we've achieved. So now we're now starting to move towards the point where we're getting them excited about the job and what we've done. Because remember, when they're at the peak of excitement, we're going to ask them for something. Can I get you to do me a favour, guys? When they're at their peak of excitement, okay, there's a couple of questions there for me, guys. When they're at their peak of excitement in this handover meeting, what's the thing we're going to ask them about? So just type that in for me. I'm just going to read this couple of questions here. When do you organise this meeting? When we know the business is done, Aaron. So when do we organise this meeting? When we know the business is done and we're pretty much, virtually when we got paid, Aaron, when all the sort of money's in the business and it's been checked off the spreadsheet. Yeah, it's saying that we've frozen. Guys, can I get you to raise your hand to let me know that you can hear me okay and I haven't frozen on you? Someone's saying that I'm frozen. Everyone can hear me? Cool, all good. Julie made a problem with yours. Okay, yeah, so that's really what we do. So once we've been paid, that's sort of, because they know it's coming, we've set the seed and we've set the seeds along the way, so they know it's happening. So Danielle will just make a call. Hey, John, I'll actually show you how we do that as well. I've got a little, this process for that. Don't let me give you the cookie so far. Too early. Susan, revisit, review, success wheel. Yeah, I haven't got to you with that stage. We've been too busy doing workshops, Susan, yet. Yeah, referrals, guys. Remind them about the deal. Slightly dodgy sound. Yeah, sorry, guys. Not sure what's happening there. Anyway, yeah, so you're right, exactly. What we're trying to do, we're trying to get them in a state of euphoria and happiness so that we can then remind them about the deal. And remember, I call it the deal. It's the deal. The commitment that I made at the start of working with you, we're going to get to that shortly. Okay, so we're going to summarise the wins. We're going to now overview the advantages. So we're going to do an advantages and disadvantages thing here. So we're going to overview advantages. JD, I wonder if you're talking to me. No. Okay, all right, cool. So that's cool. So we're going to overview the advantages. So we're going to start to, and then what we're going to do, we're going to identify disadvantages. Because the reality is we want to keep it real. We want to make sure that they know we did lots and lots of things that we wanted to do, but the reality is there were some things that either we couldn't do or we weren't ready to do yet. So I don't mind the value stack seesaw. We want lots and lots of value, but if there was something that we couldn't do, or we got a loading, or something didn't work out the way exactly we wanted it to, or whatever, this is the time to actually paint the picture there as well. We want to let them know, because they're going to appreciate that. If you just skipped something, or we got a decline, or whatever, and didn't talk about it in this meeting, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be real. So we want to keep it real. So we talk about the advantages, and we'll just talk about the disadvantages. I know for a fact, and you know for a fact, they're going to be, the list of advantages is going to be way, way, way bigger than the disadvantages. And in fact, just thinking about it, I never did this, but you could probably talk about the one or two disadvantages first and then stack up the advantages on the other side. So we weren't able to do this. We said we wanted this and we weren't able to do that, but here's the thing. We couldn't do those things, but here's what we did do. So maybe what you might do is actually flip those, just thinking about that in hindsight. Yeah, you might flip that around. Talk about the one or two negatives first and then come back in like a knight in shining armour with all the positives. Yeah, cool. What about complex and ongoing situations that take several months? Yeah, so the thing is, it might take several months, Susan, exactly right. So if it does take several months, it's going to take several months. But and it's a good question, and I've got it in this, but yeah, at some point you've got to draw the line. I would probably draw the line, if it was sort of 4 months, I would get them in for a handover meeting anyway, and then just explain why this other thing's taking so long. And if it was something that they know that's going to take a long time, I would. So the thing is, Susan, if they know it's something that's going to take a long time, like it's waiting for a property to settle or whatever, you know, you've just got to make a call on it on the day. But if they know it's going to take a long time, get all the other things right, and then get them in, and then you can explain how we're going, how your progress to objectives is, or whatever that way. So yeah, you don't want to leave it too long because it'll lose its excitement. Normally, depending on how complex it is, but normally you can get the job done in sort of 1 to 3 months. Yeah, let's be honest. It should be our KPI in the business was 60 days. We want to, and that's why we ran a workshop called "How to Turn Your Finances Around in Under 90 Days" because we were pretty confident we could get it done in 60. So yeah, so that's the sort of thing. You just got to make a call for yourself. It's up to you and your business. Yep. And just the last thing on this, so we want to value stack. So that's basically what we want to do. We're value stacking, and also just as part of that, we're getting agreement. We're getting them to agree and tell you again, over and over again, how important it is and how happy they are. All right, so we're getting agreement. So we're trying to create excitement by revealing the VIP, summarising the wins. We're going to walk through the little one-pager, overview the advantages and disadvantages. We're going to value stack. Then what we're going to do, we're going to stop. Okay, we're going to ask for insight. So we're going to stop and pause. We're going to pause for a minute. Okay, we're going to just stop. Once we've got them excited, we're going to stop. We're going to pause. We're going to let them just be in the moment, just for a bit. Stop and pause. And then we're going to ask them, is this making sense so far? Question mark. What do you think they're going to say? Is this making sense so far? What do you think they're going to say? Well, they're going to say, yeah, this is really cool. You're actually excited. You're explaining it well, and I get it, and I understand it. Nobody's ever done this for me before. And I've had 4 financial planners over the years, and no one's ever done it like this before. I'm really, really excited about this. I get it. I understand it, and I love it. Yeah, so you're going to ask if it's making sense so far, and you're going to ask what's been most valuable from the session, from your meeting, not from the work you did. What you want to say, what's been most valuable. You want them to say things like, you've explained it, so what's been most valuable? You want them to be saying things like, you've explained it well, or this is really professional, or I'm now really clear on it now, or I was a little bit confused and I get it, or I see the value of it now. You know, this is the sort of reaction that you want at this point here. So when you say, is this making sense so far, what's been most valuable, you want them to be telling you what they got, not out of the work you did, but out of the session that you're in at the handover meeting. And you can ask them why. This is the other thing. And why is that? Why has that been valued? And you get them to explain why that was the most valuable. And if the opportunity, the other thing I used to do, I used to I used to ask them, if that's the case, how does that affect you or your family? And if you can get them to start talking about how it affects their family, you know, the clarity, the certainty, the knowledge that they're okay, the knowledge that they're going to pay less tax, the knowledge that you fix their cash flow, the knowledge that we've got, we're going to have a more comfortable retirement, whatever it happens to be, you want to ask the question. If you think it's right and relevant, it's not always the right question to ask, but I'd love you to ask, get them to start telling you how their family feels about it as well. Okay. All right. So that's what we've done. So we've re-engaged, we've reconnected them to it all. We've overviewed the results, we've created excitement, and we've also got insight about what we've done and how good it was for them. Now, this is the point where we're going to switch gears. We're going to recomplete the success wheel. So we're going to ask them at this point here. We want to reiterate everything now. This is the time where I ask to recomplete. So I say, what I want to do. This is the answers you gave before you met me, and this is how you were feeling. What I'd love you to do right now, let's walk through each one of those 8 points, and I want to recomplete this wheel, and I just want to see where you're sitting now. Just for my sake, I need to know after the event, now that you know, now that you understand, now that you've had a whole heap of questions answered, now that your position's better, now that you feel blah, 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 I just want to know where you're feeling now, and you're going to walk them through and get them to recomplete the success wheel. You want to get them to understand how much closer to 10 are they? Okay, so how much closer to a 10 are they? So we want to make sure that they were low when they first met, because they all will be, mostly they all will be, and then now that you've done your work, how do they feel? What I used to do is I then identify the gap, I point out the gap, and what I haven't got it on that example there, but what I used to do, I identify the gap. I used to identify the gap, but what I actually did, I actually used to colour it in. Colour in gap. So I used to have a texter, or just get a highlighter pen, and I used to colour in the gap. So from where they were and the difference, that bit in between, I used to colour that in so that really hit home the value that we brought to them, because that's what this is all about. We're reiterating the work that we've done, and we want to make sure that we show the difference. Because there's always a difference. They're never going to feel worse, believe me, guys. So 14 years of doing these success wheel colouring ins, I've never had any one of the points on the 8 wheels, never was there anyone that ever was less than what we first started with. Let me promise. So you want to make sure that you show the difference. You show the difference, and then what I do at that point, I just sort of summarize. I do what I call a super summary of the wins. Super summary, because we're getting to the next point here of the wins. I just do a super summary of the wins. So now you've done that, let me just summarise again. We've done this, we've done that. We've been able to save this much money on your tax, and looks like we're going to pay your debts off in 6 years earlier than what we thought we were, and that's going to free up some cash flow so that we can get that more money into super. And you were looking at retirement at 65 years of age. It looks like we can probably do it on the income you need at about 62. You must be feeling really, really excited about that. You must be happy about that, and that bit extra cash flow. We've set aside $10,000 every year for you to take your kids and a family on a holiday, and at least one of those holidays, or a couple of holidays, and at least one of them involving the airport. So really good. You must be feeling really good. So how are you feeling about this, guys? So you want to be getting them, and so you rattle off the wins and how you feel, and you rattle off the next win, and you must be excited by that. And you rattle off the next win, and you say, what difference is that going to make? And you're starting to get the value state. We're climbing up the mountain. We're getting them excited and more excitement. Rattle off a win. Get their acknowledgement. Rattle off the next win. How do they feel? Rattle off the next win. Get them to tell you what that means to them. And then when they're at the peak of that, we're going to remind them of the deal. And we're going to use the VIP transition script. VIP transition script. Okay, we're going to remind them, say, guys, so you must be feeling great, right? Would that be fair? And they're going to say yes. And they're going to say, you remember up front we talked about the fact that if we'd done a good job and you were happy with our work and we had a good relationship together, I would invite you, because we don't ask everyone, I would invite you to take part in our referral program. Remember that? Do you remember that conversation? And they're going to say yes. Okay, and then you're going to say, well, the reality is, guys, I've enjoyed working with you guys. It's been really great. I think we've done some fantastic work together. Wouldn't you agree? And some of these things are going to change your life, and it's going to change your life for the better for the long term. And it's really, really important that we maintain our relationship together. And I've just had fun. I love working with you. And in fact, if I could build a business built on a platform of people just like you, I'd be a really, really happy guy, or I'd be a really happy girl. Okay, so this is the transition script. All right, we want to get them. We want to get them up high, get them excited about what we've done, and then we're going to remind them of the conversation we had in the very first meeting. Okay, so we use that VIP transition script to get into the referrals. That's what I was just doing now. I just discussed the wins again and get them excited about it. And what we're trying to do here, we're trying to build momentum. We're trying to build momentum about this, and we're gonna peak. I'm not sure if this is how I spell it, but anyway, Julie, you can tell me. We're gonna peak their enthusiasm. Okay, right at this point here, we want to get them at the top of that mountain, and then last bit here, we're going to remind them of the deal. Because it's part of the process now, they've committed to it. They know it, it's coming, and they're actually excited. They're hoping that they're going to get asked, remember, because we set it up right at the start, remind of the deal. We told them at the start because we don't ask everyone. So if and only if, I think we can have a great relationship together, and on the caveat that I do a good job together, and we have a great time, and we enjoy each other's company, and all the rest of it, I may ask you, if I ask, and only if I ask, my wife's just leaving, and I'm going camping this weekend. Bye, baby. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Just had to say goodbye to my wife because I'm going camping shortly, and she's going out. Yeah, so we remind them right at that very point there. It's part of the deal, and that's where we're going to take them. Then the last part, and I'm going to show you the tools in just a second. Then the last part, we get them to recommit. Now we're back in, so we're recommitted, but now we're recommitting to the responsibilities. So we're going to reconfirm everything we talked about at the start. We're going to reconfirm everything, all the responsibilities. We're going to reconfirm that there's a review, and it's going to be annually. And what's going to happen is about at month 11, Danielle is going to give you a call, and she's going to block in a time, and it's your responsibility to put that time in. Calls, you're going to answer. Is that okay? Does that make sense? You feel happy with that? So you're going to lay it on the line right there and then. When Daniela calls, you will answer the phone and you will make an appointment because that's part of the deal. Okay? This is how you get out of this chasing game. You set it up front. Now, a lot of you guys have not done this, but you've got to start from today. You've got to start laying down the law and actually making it the deal, and this is how it's done around here, and telling them about it so that when Daniela rings, or Anne-Marie, or your version of my Daniela, when Daniela rings at month 11, they just ring, oh, that's right, I forgot about that, I've been waiting for your call, great. What time's he free? Bang, and we go from there. Okay, so we're going to recommit the responsibilities about the review. We're going to recommit that they need to be an advocate of the business. Advocate the biz. So we're going to tell them. So you're part of our family now, and as part of that, we want you to be trying at all opportunity, whenever you can, to tell stories about our business and to let everyone know how good we are and what a good job you're doing. And we want you to be. You guys hear me say all the time, you're part of the Blackwing Profit family. I used to say you're part of the SFS family now. And when you're part of the family, you don't diss your family. You just don't diss your family. So really, what you're trying to build, guys, you don't want to build a business, you want to build a community. And you want to build a community of people who feel like they're part of your business's family. And when you're in a family, you do not diss your family. It just doesn't happen, no matter how bad they are. Right? So that's kind of good or bad, but no matter how bad they are, you just don't diss them. So that's what we want people to be doing to you. Oh, holy crap, I've got to hurry up quick. I just want to show you some good stuff in. Guys, give me another 5 or so. I'll do this faster because I've got some cool stuff to show you. Last thing, are you going to make sure that they complain and complain loudly? Just give them that chance because that just takes a weight off their shoulders. If something goes wrong, I can tell you guys, but you want them to tell you because if something's not going right, you want to be able to fix it and you want to be able to apologise. So now part of the deal was you committed to complaining and complaining loudly. So you can do it if you've got to complain. That's good. You want complaints because complaints become an opportunity for you. You're going to recommit to turning up on time. Turn up on time. And the last one, so you can run your business effectively, and you're committing to support, to encouragement, blame a system, not a person, in other words, encourage, and you're also participation. So when you run an event, participate. When you run an event, you expect them to come. When you run a workshop, you expect them to come. When you run a VIP private client briefing, you expect them to come, and you expect them to bring a friend. You expect them to support your business, you expect them to encourage, and you expect them to participate in your activities. So guys, that's what I believe. That's the handover matrix. So that's pretty much the steps that we walk through in this handover meeting. We're re-engaging with them. We're going to reconnect with them deeply, really, really deeply, in the things that are important to you and to them and to their future. That's the big part. We want to reconnect them to their future, and that future involves you because they're part of your business. And the third part here, we want to make sure that we reiterate what the responsibilities are. Guys, just let me quickly, I'm conscious of time. I just did get a little bit away from me. Spent 2 minutes saying goodbye to my wife because I won't see her for 3 days, but I'm sorry about that. It's part of my life. Guys, so let's just have a look at this. Just let me give you a few examples. So this is this is the Excite email that we send beforehand. So I'm going to read it to you guys. I hope you can stay for a couple of minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. It'll only be 5 or so, but these are really important. Hopefully you can stay for a couple of minutes. Hey Fred, we've come a long way. We've done a great job together. The journey that we've agreed to embark on together is now set and well in motion. This is just a quick message to let you know that the initial strategy, guys, just get that, the initial strategy work that we've completed together is now complete and it's in place as requested. But as you know, the journey to financial freedom has just started. In fact, there's one more critical piece to this puzzle for us to complete. I think it's on the next one. Complete. Okay. So it's with great pleasure and excitement that we invite you personally to our office for our very special VIP handover strategy meeting. So Aaron, this is sort of answering your question, when do we send it to them? It's with great pleasure we've done that. We've done a lot together, and as I mentioned previous, it's important that we for us to ensure that you're crystal clear on what's been achieved, how you better off, that should be off, how you better off, the structure that's as it sits, and of course run through the numbers again so that you're absolutely clear. It's also a great chance for you to ask final questions or to clarify any details before we finally set your plan in motion. I've also prepared something really special for you when you get here. Sorry, it's hush-hush at the moment, but you'll need to come in to find out what that is. Okay, so that's just that little bit of intrigue. We hope you've had a great start to the journey with your business. We sure have. And we want to prove that in our VIP handover session. I've asked Anne-Marie or Daniela to touch base with you, tee up a time for you and Mary to come in. I look forward to it. Talk to you soon. So you can see how that meeting, that email goes out. So that's just the email. It's just like a normal review email, but it's got a little bit about it, a little bit mystique and that sort of thing. And hopefully the wording is pretty much, it's pretty classy. And not only that, we've also told them that this is going to happen. So this is just the next step in the journey. All right, so then what we do, we've actually got a VIP, we created a VIP companion. This is a little bit of an old one. I actually changed the front things there on the, where I got in gold, we actually put our actual business colours, and so we actually embossed it, so we didn't have colour, so it was a blue folder like this, and we actually ended up getting rid of the gold and we just had it embossed, so it was just an indentation and it just looked a bit smicker than this, but this still looks cool. What I also want you to notice, guys, have a look at the gusset on the right-hand side there. The gusset is really, really thick. It was like I think it was a 30mm gusset, so we could put 4 to 5 or 6 years worth of review meetings and paperwork and stuff like that in the gusset. It was really, really thick there, so we could fit a lot of reviews. So this was a tool. This was this was the document or the thing that they brought into all of their review meetings as well. So this is the thing that we used to give them. And then inside it was sort of laid out like that. So it had our Earn the Right story in there. It had a little our vision, mission, intent statement, had a brochure, had just with a business card in there. I used to put 4 or 5 cards in there and I'd tell them about that. There's cards in there. Had a beautiful pen. We had beautiful business pens made up. And you can see there, you can't actually quite see it. Underneath see where I've got those coloured flowcharts in the middle, underneath there's like the little tabs, the coloured tabs. So you could put your superannuation, your income protection, your life insurance, your trauma cover, your home loan, so we just had tabs. So I just realised you can't actually see it under that plastic there, but there was actually some tabs, and we'd actually go through and that's what Daniela would do. When they walk in, they'd hand over their paperwork, Daniela would go through their paperwork, sort it all out, and then she'd hole punch it and put it into the tabs. Super, life insurance, income protection, the gearing, whatever the tabs were, that sort of thing. So that's the sort of thing that we're talking about. This is what we call the VIP compendium. Inside the compendium, like I said, our little DL brochure, vision, mission, intent statement. We had our Earn the Right story, just in case they ever wanted to give it to someone or just wanted to, every time they looked at it, they had our stuff there, our branding. But I want you to notice the branding. Notice it looks professional. It's our colours, it's bright, you definitely couldn't miss our branding, for sure. So we had that in there. We also I used to do a flowchart summary, and this is where I'd walk them through what we'd done. So I got a young girl in, and she coded up from our X-Plan into this Word template. So once we'd done the work, the code would fall straight out, and we'd actually do a one-page summary, a summary of what we'd actually achieve. So we talk about the immediate term, short, medium and long term. Then I'd do a picture of their assets so that they could see it. So we'll spell it out in words in one syllable for them really, really simply and easily. So they just had to look at this summary. Instead of reading the 428,000 SOA that we've done, they could go to the first 4 or 5 pages at the start here and just summarise what we did. We talked about the pension plan, I've changed the names here, but yeah, the family trust, and then we'd sort of do a bit of a flowchart of how it all worked and where the dividends were going and all this sort of thing. And then I'd show them their investment, their super, and the asset allocation and the percentage and what style and whatever, and all that sort of thing. It's just so it's just a visual representation of what we've done. Matt Bazica, mate, I'm not sure if Matt's on the call, but Matt actually did, this is his version of it, so I helped him do this. So Matt just did a one-page snapshot. So this was Matt's template, and he just put in the details and just go through and just do a one-page snapshot. Instead of doing a few pages like I did in a bit more detail, Matt would just have this one-page snapshot, and that was at the top of the folder, so that they didn't have to wade through the SOA, they could just look at the one-page snapshot, or what I call the flowcharts, and just have a really clear picture of where we're at. And this is the tool that I use to explain what we've done as well. Is this making sense, guys? Yeah, cool, okay. All right, no worries. So that's good. Okay, and this is also when we talk about the VIP referral program. So in the folder, I'd have our VIP referral cards as well, and we'd have the may you invite your clients letter, and we'd have the explanation of yes, you may, how to refer people, and that we're going to look after them and treat them with absolute courtesy and respect. We'd have our VIP referral vouchers in there as well, and so they'd be part of inside the compendium as well. So really nice, classy, professional, really good quality, so that they felt like they'd got a gift. Okay, and a gift for them, but it's also a gift that they could give their friends and family. And then we have our little sort of gift program as well. So this is some of the things. We have wine bottles and shirts and caps, and what I want you to notice is everything that we've got is branded. You give movie tickets. Once the movie's on, it's finished. You send flowers. Once the flowers are dead, they're in the bin. Chocolates, once they're eaten, they're gone. You a bottle of wine, which we did actually put wine in here. But if you just send a bottle of alcohol or something, it just gets drunk and it's gone. So everything we did, it was amazing. People used to come in their SFS polo shirts and their SMS. We used to have these jumpers with collars made, just cool little sports sort of jumpers with our logos on them, and just really, really cool. So that's sort of the sort of things that we used to give in the gift program. But inside the gift program, what had happened is once a month, on the 25th of each month, that was the day I'd sign the review letters, but Daniela would line up all of the client gifts with the letter printed and everything ready, and the few basic gifts that everyone gets some basic gifts. So they all got a pen and they all got a stubby holder, and they all might get a drink bottle. They all might get a golf ball, if they play golf or whatever. So there were some basic things that people got. She'd line them up on one of our desks, and there'd be like 10 or 15 gifts. And she'd come out, put it in the diary. I'd go out there and I'd sign all the letters, and I'd say, okay, right, give him a hat, give him a shirt, give him a golf ball because I know he plays golf. Well, don't give them a golf ball because I know they don't play golf. So give them a tea candle set or whatever. So I just go through and pick the gifts because I knew the people. But what she'd do on the see this little card template here, she'd just tiny little bit of paper, and she'd just chop them up, and she'd say thank you letter, tick, feedback form, tick, reply paid envelope, tick, super card, tick, business card, tick. And she'd tell me how much money we'd made. It wasn't just commission, but how much income we made, and there was we had a sliding scale of who got what. So from 0 to 500, you actually didn't get much. You got a pen and a stubby holder maybe. From 500 to 1500, you got something else. From 1500 to 3000, we got this. From 3000 to 8000, you got blah. And then from 8000 plus, we sort of went into a higher level. I didn't mind spending, if I had 8, 9, 10, our average sale was around 12,000. If I'd made 10 grand from someone, I didn't mind spending $150 on them to give them a wow experience. So we had that sort of thing. So, but all these we just cut them up, tiny little bits of paper, and they were stuck on each page, so I know they've got everything. She's ticked them off, and I know how much we earned from them, so I could then determine what we gave them. Just to give you an idea, so we had a thank you letter. I'd like to thank you personally for the opportunity. Your super and your insurances are in place. We're pleased to have you as part of the SFS family. You notice that there, guys? And by now you should receive all your policy documents. We've enclosed for your convenience a handy super reference card. These cards should be kept with you in your wallet or in a safe place so you can be produced when you go to a new employer, or if you ever need to quote your super fund number. So what was that doing, guys? When people go to a new job, they get automatically defaulted into the program, into the industry fund. No, not my clients. My clients go and say, hey, here's my super fund. Here, Mr. Employer, here's my super fund. Here, new employer, here's my super fund. So guess what? All of the cash, all of the money went into the super fund that I was managing. So it's a really, really good trick, and I'll give you a template for that in a second. You invite you to contact you. As you know, positive word of mouth is the best way to do it, blah, 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 blah. So that's how it just all works. And then so that's the super cards, so the front and back. So they're branded, have your name and your policy number, and it have so if it was North or Colonial, their number in the bottom corner. But on the needed to, so wherever they're with payroll and the payroll said, hey, we don't accept this fund, just call me and let me talk to them, that sort of thing. So it's a really, really good trick, guys. Make yourself a little template. You can grab this template, I'll give it to you at the end of the session, and give them a little card so that all the money goes into your super fund down the track. We had we actually called it a feed forward form. So feed forward form. How well did you rate your advisor? How they understood your needs? How comfortable were you feeling talking about your needs with your advisor? What level of technical knowledge you have? How did you think their range of products helped you or matched your needs? What was the overall professionalism, overall standard of the support of the team, dependability and reliance, and just overall service? And then on the back of it, would you recommend us to others? Yes. And then all key to get back on customer experience with us. Could you please take a moment to jot down some thoughts about your experience with us so far, how you feel your plan is now in place, and some general comments about those. We'd get that, and then often we'd get another piece of paper that write a big testimonial for us. And then next question, can we use these in our testimonial section of our website? So this is just another way to build up your testimonials. We had wine bottles made. We went down to Margaret River and got some clean skins and got some wine bottles made up. Really cool. They were really great. People love those. And really cool quality experience for people. Whew, okay, you get it? We're 10 minutes over. I'm really sorry about that, guys. But, yeah, I just think it was important to run through this. Guys, here's the thing. If you do it and do it well, what's going to happen is if you do this job well, after it's all said and done, the way you hand over is going to say more about your business, anything that you've done so far. The excitement about getting the job done is gone by now, and they've paid for it, so it's up to you to get them it all over again, and hopefully you can see how we will get that done. Okay, if you hand over well, guys, you get clients to buy back in. They buy back into you, they buy back into your business, and most importantly, they buy back into their future. They'll take ownership of what they said, and you don't have to push or hassle them about anything anymore. They own it. They accountability, and they'll fulfill whatever commitments they've agreed to because you've indoctrinated them properly, and it becomes installed as part of your business, and that all comes from a really, really good handover. All right, guys, I'm conscious of time. I'm not going to give you a game plan today. Game plan is basically write down 3 things in the action page, in the action steps page on the back. I want you to write down 3 things that you could do in your business that would take this idea forward powerfully. It doesn't have to be as perfect as mine, but I just want you to write down 3 things, and then what I want you to do, everyone on the call, and I've got a list of everyone on the call here, guys. I want everyone to go to the you're going to see a post in a few minutes with this symbol in there, with this slide. And I want you to type in there what are 2 actions that you could take to get your handover meeting moving forward powerfully. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to change tack next. That was this week, but next time I can't wait. We're moving from delivery. We're moving into referrals month, and inside Blackwing next week we start referrals month, and my plan is to break it up over the course of the month. We're going to focus on client referrals, and we're going to focus on alliance partner referrals. And I reckon referrals are an absolute goldmine gone begging. I've worked with financial planners all over the place, all over the world, in fact, and the most important or the biggest request that people have, and the biggest problem they've got, is that they don't have a process for actively getting referrals or asking for, and that's why, and I think it's a massive part of what financial planners want. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to change that for you. Next time we're going to be talking about this little thing called the deal. Now, I didn't go into it on purpose too much today because next week we're going to pull apart the anatomy of the referrals deal. So the session next week is how to position the deal. So I touched on it today, but we'll go into it really, really deep. I'm going to show you, if you want to scale up your business fast, guys, you need to get good at this. I'm going to walk you through the exact script, what tools to help, when to use them, and it's going to absolutely be smooth as butter. You love it. And your clients are going to love it too. All right, so next week, how to position the deal. That's the plan when we get together for next week, guys. So, guys, really, I've gone over a little bit, but I thought it was important to show you all of the things. Don't forget, keep communicating in the Facebook page. Loving that. Talk to me on LinkedIn, guys. If you see me do a post on LinkedIn, I'd love your support in there as well. So I'm getting really good support in Facebook, but hey, come and play with me in LinkedIn a bit as well. So if you ever see a post from me in LinkedIn, hey, love a comment. So likes are good. Comments are amazing. Shares, you can't do any more for me to help my business than to share my stuff on LinkedIn. So that's really where my clients come from. So you guys talking to me and help me in there. Andrew, if you're on the call, mate, thank you. Saw your post the other day, mate, and that was incredibly. I've had 2 private messages over when you posted that in there, mate, just so you know. So really, really cool. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the session. And we'll take care. I'm going camping, so won't be around on the weekend. Got a footy club reunion down going camping, so that should be interesting. All right, guys, take care. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a great week. Bye now.